Hello, everybody. As you can tell, I am not in Kansas anymore. This is the famous Parthenon on the Acropolis in Athens, Greece, one of the most recognizable buildings, monuments in all the world. I'm here because the Apostle Paul came to Athens on one of his journeys, his second journey, and he came to Athens to preach to the city of Athens and to the intellectuals here in this city. And he came to a place that was well known, a place called Mars Hill, which is at the base of the Acropolis, overlooking the Agora, the famous Greek Agora and Roman Agora at the time. So let me take you there right now to show you where Paul had his famous sermon in Acts 17. I'm going to make my way down from the Parthenon and the Acropolis. I'm going to go down to Mars Hill. Let me show you the entrance to the Acropolis area. This is the way people used to get into the Acropolis, to the Parthenon area. And I'll show you Mars Hill here in a second. You can see right over here, that's the port of Athens. That's where Paul would have sailed into, right there. And then when he came to preach at Mars Hill, let me show you Mars Hill. You look down and you see the rocky hill right there. That's where we're headed, to the place of Mars Hill where Paul gave his sermon to the men of Athens. Let me show you one other thing that's cool. You can see Mars Hill, and there's Mars Hill, and you can see the area of the Agora with the temples, where he was walking and where he saw the statue to the unknown God. That happened right in this area called the Agora, right in that area. But there's Mars Hill. Be there in just a second. Okay, that's where I just came from, the steps that led down from the Acropolis, and I'm headed over towards Mars Hill, where Paul preached his sermon. Let me show you that place. This was where the Apostle Paul, this is called Mars Hill. This is, on top of this hill is where he gave his sermon that's recorded in Acts 17. We're going to go up there. Okay, I have walked down from the Acropolis and the Parthenon up there to Mars Hill. This is the area where Paul came and met with the Areopagus, the group of men, learned men, smart guys, to argue his faith. He mentions in there that he had been walking in the marketplace and saw a statue to an unknown God. This is the Greek marketplace, the Greek Agora. You can even see a temple, still standing since 450 BC. But Paul was in this area, saw a statue to a unknown God, and then came up here at the invitation of the learned men of the city and pleaded his case, argued the case in a very logical way up here on the area called Mars Hill, in the shadow of the Acropolis. And in a very logical way, He argued for the faith, even complimented the Greeks by quoting their own philosophers, but in the end said that we worship a God that is not made by the hands of man. I'm sure gesturing up to the Parthenon where the statue of Athena, the goddess of the city, was enshrined, or down into the Agora area. But he said we worship a God who's we do not make, but who made us. It's a fabulous sermon that he gave here in Athens, up here on Mars Hill, and a sermon which still reverberates through history and speaks to us today.